Welcome to another session of LibreOffice Writer. This session we're going to look at tabs. So without any more ado, let's open up Office Writer. There we go. So tabs are useful for doing things like memos and menus in particular. So what I'll do today is I'll have a quick look at creating a menu. So the first thing to notice is that the tabs are on the ruler. Each of these little markers are tabs. So I've got the Velcro turned on, so I can press the tab key, which is on the top left of the keyboard, and you see you get this little arrow indicating that a tab has been used. And if you look up the top, there you have the tab that you've jumped to. So the next tab is over there, at 2.5. You press that and it jumps to that. So that's really simple introduction to tabs. The quickest way to put tabs in, or not necessarily the best, is to use this little tool, this little icon over here. So that's a left tab, you can see. So there's a vertical line and the printing of the words go to the right. So that's called a left tab because it's straight on the left. That's a right tab, does the opposite. You go to the tab and your writing goes in the left direction, backwards if you like. The next, if you click again, you get a center tab. So what it says, everything at that tab will be centered. And then an interesting one, which is the decimal tab, or center with a decimal point. If you look very carefully, you can see a little dot after the center tab, and that means that it will be centered around the decimal point, and that's quite good for money and stuff. Okay, if you click again, you go back to the left tab. So let me just quickly put a left tab in there. Oops, sorry, I beg your pardon. I'll go back around till I get it. There's a left tab. So where should we have the left tab? Let's put it at 3 centimeters. So I click, you notice the tabs before it just disappear, and we've got a left tab there. Let's get a center tab, and I'll put that at 7.5, and then I'll put a decimal tab. I don't really know what I'm going to do yet, but I'll put a decimal tab around 12. So there you go. All the other tabs, except afterwards, the tabs on the right stay there, but the other tabs disappear. They're the default tabs. So we've got a tab at 3, which is a left tab, which means the writing goes to the right. We've got a tab at 7.5, which is a center tab, which means your writing will be centered around the 7.5. And then over at 12.5, we've got a decimal tab, which means you're obviously got to have a decimal point, so it's usually money or maths, will be centered around 12.5. So let's just do something and just see what happens. So I press the tab key, and you see it jumps to 3, and now I can put this is left tab, so the writing goes from the left outwards. Now I press the tab again. Now we're on the center tab, so I say hello space world, as all computer people do, and you can see that the hello world is centered around the center tab. Press the tab again, and this is the decimal tab, so let's put some numbers in. 1.5. I'll jump down the next line and tab 10.5, jump to the next line and tab and 1000.45. So you can see that that's numbered around the decimal point. It's centered around the decimal point. Now that's basically simple tabs. One thing to notice, as you press the enter key, you go to the next paragraph and the tabs remain in place. That's quite important. So the tabs remain in place as long as you're using them. The minute you don't use them, they'll stop going in place. So when you're adjusting tabs, it can be a little bit tricky, but there we are. That's tabs. Okay, let's get a new document. I'm going to use Control N, hold the Control key down and type N. That gives me a new document. And this time I'm going to put tabs in, but I'm going to do it in a slightly different way. First of all, let's put just a center tab. Now, as I mentioned, tabs work on paragraphs. So we're going to format paragraph. So I'm bringing up the paragraph dialog box, and you can see it's already on tabs because that's the last thing I was using. If you remember, we did a little bit of this. Indents, alignment, text flow. It's interesting to play with this stuff. It doesn't do any harm. So there we are. We got tabs. We're on the tabs tab. Okay. So what do we have? We had 3.5, didn't we? No, I said I was going to put a center tab. So this is where your ruler comes in handy, because if you think, well, it goes from 0 to 17, so halfway is 8.5. So I'm going to put a center tab at 8.5. I like to put the centimeters in, don't have to. And I'm going to center tab. So down here we got the different types of tabs. I'm going to click a center tab, and that's it. So I'm happy with that. I only want a center tab there. Okay, so you can see I've got a center tab there. So when I press the Enter key now, boom, it jumps to the what I think is the center of the page, 8.5, and it'll be, my text is going to be centered around that because the center tab's there. Okay, let's write something. The menu. I said I was going to do a menu. The menu. Okay. Now press the Enter key, and the tab is still there, but I'm finished with it. I don't want it now. I want a different tab. So Format. Go down to Paragraph. Pulls up the tabs, and that's what I've got at the moment. So I'm going to delete them. Boom, start again. So the previous tab, which is on previous paragraph, still has its tab, so we're still centered on it, but I'm going to do some new stuff now. Okay, the first one I'm going to have at 3 centimeters, and that's going to be, let me see, the menu item. So we're going to put things on the menu. That I guess will be just text like burgers or chips or fries or whatever. Okay, so the first tab is going to be a left tab, so that's standard stuff. A new tab, I put there's the left hand one I've just done. It comes up with 3, but don't worry about that. We're going to change it. Well, let's go the price of these items. So let's put that at, I don't know. Let me just have a look at the ruler again and see. I probably want it around about 14. So let's put 14 in there. 14 centimeters. Notice if you don't put the centimeters in, it puts it in for you. And that is going to be a decimal tab because that's going to be a price. And between the 3 and the 14, the 3 tab and the 14 tab, I am going to have a dotted line. That's just to make it easier for people to see. You notice you can have all sorts of things. One of the things you could put in there if you wanted to is a chevron, and then between the tab and the next tab you'll have all chevrons, but I don't want that. I just want a dotted line. So there we go. New. Okay, so there's the 2 tabs I've got. I don't want any more, so I'm going to say OK. Now on this paragraph, you see, if you look up here, I've got the left tab at 3 and I've got the decimal tab at 14. If I click on the previous paragraph, it's still a centered tab around 8. Okay, so let's go to there. So when I press the tab key now, it jumps to 3 and I can put something in there. Let me see. Shima. Where would you be without Shima? And the cost of that, let me see, we're probably in one of those lodges on the lake, so for Shima they're going to probably want to charge something silly like, I don't know, let's say 10 kwacha. I hope you get a lot of Shima by that, but I'm putting the decimal point in and 2 zeros because I want to send it around the decimal and it'll look better. Okay, Shima. And then what else can we have a Shima? Kariba Bream. Bream. Okay, tab again, and oh, this is going to be nice. So well, it's going to be, oh dear, I couldn't. It's one of those places the politicians go to, not us. So 1550 kwacha. Okay, next thing. See, as I press the enter key, I carry the tab marker down with me. What can we have? Bread. Should we have bread? No, probably not bread. Gonna have rice. I see. Rice tab is going to be, I don't know, 12.50. Silly prices, but never mind. You get the picture, I hope. So there we go. That's the use of tabs by using the format paragraph option. Let's click on the marker there, the Pilcrow it's called. If you remember that, I remember being asked that in a Microsoft, I was doing a Microsoft Master Instructor once, and they asked me what this was, and fortunately I knew, but it's surprising how many people don't. So that's the Pilcrow. So I've turned it off, and now you can see that's what will be printed. So you see, it makes a reasonable sort of menu. So there we go. That's your task for this session. Pull up a menu and get it working. Okay, well, thanks for watching. I go back to Simple Screen Recorder. As you know, it's my favorite, and I will save the recording. There we go.